Welcome back to Ash on Comics. My name's Ash. This is a comic. I'm doing a review of Strange Adventures #1, Amazing Science Fiction, question mark. Ooh, this is DC Black Label. It's one of two. It is by Tom King, Mitch Gerads, and Evan Doc Shaner. This is a much, hyped series. For some reason, Tom King's stuff continues to get hyped huge, like he's always writing the next Watchmen, despite his last series absolutely not being like Watchmen in terms of quality. I mean, like I will just put a disclaimer out there. My bias is I came into DC Comics as a DC Comics collector in 2018. And one of the comics I started to pick up and get into was Batman by Tom King. I started at the Rebirth #1s, even though they were already going on. I went back, got the trades on Comixology. And Tom King's Batman Rebirth was among my favorite comics. Okay, that I maintain that I Am Gotham is a terrific comic book. It's what I wish Batman was today even. I love that book. I thought it was a vision and a voice to Batman that felt authentic. It felt right for comics, but it also felt like no one had ever quite done it that way. And that's a hard thing to get. Anyways, Mr. Miracle did not win me over. But whatever. I'm okay with that. Sometimes even my favorite writers write stuff that I don't care about. And that's fine. Things are subjective. That's the way it is. I totally accept that. And then Heroes in Crisis came out. Now, Heroes in Crisis is, well, I started off, my review is still in the channel. You can go and watch it. I reviewed issue #1, and I still stand by my review that it was a 5-star book. I called it one of the best issues of the year. It was phenomenal. Some of my fellow critics did not agree with me, thought I was high, but I still stand by that argument because if you see the people that didn't like that first issue, just the first issue, the complaints were things like, I don't get why Harley can fight Booster Gold. He's got a shield. And there were critiques about things that weren't yet explained. There were reasons. We just didn't know those reasons. And those things didn't bother me because, #1, I'm not a huge Booster Gold guy, so I didn't even know these things. I was just taking the story for what it was. And I've gone back and reread it. It is actually fantastic. Now, Heroes in Crisis is one of the worst miniseries I've ever read. It falls apart in a way that boggles my mind. And also, the whole Batman series fell apart. The second half of Tom King's Batman run just went into nonsense. Now, one of the things I think is that Tom King does have some talent as a writer, and I will stand by that. But what I do think also is that Tom King thinks that he's way better than he is. And instead of being a Zack Snyder type who's constantly trying to improve and thinking he's not good enough, so, even when he misses, he's still trying to get better. Tom King thinks he's at the top of the mountain. He thinks he's already writing Watchmen. So he doesn't struggle. He doesn't try. And I don't think there's any real editorial over him. And he doesn't listen to his critics. He mocks them on social media, and basically anyone that doesn't like what he does is just a bigot towards him, or not bigot like racially, just a bigot in the intolerant sense. They have it in for me. They won't. That's not true. I will like Tom King. Like I said, I Am Gotham is one of my favorite. I love that story. So I come into Strange Adventures. It's important to have this disclaimer because I'm going to review this book for you now, and I'm going to try to keep it short. I know Eric Breen's laughing right now. This comic cover, first of all, let's address the 100-pound, was it the 800-pound gorilla in the room? This comic cover has a little bit of controversy in the sense that there is a independent book that was crowdfunded a little while back called T-Bird and Throttle. Now, I'm not going to really cover that. I haven't not read T-Bird and Throttle, but my boy Wes over at Thinking Critical just posted a video. I urge you to go over to his channel and watch it. If you're curious about this, he actually has an interview with the creator of T-Bird and Throttle, and the eerie coincidences or the things that match that book and this book that I don't know about. I can't make any judgments, but hearing the testimony, hearing the evidence and things like that, it seems like either a bunch of space monkeys just randomly type Shakespeare, if you get that reference, or someone did a little bit of creative poaching, if you will. I don't know. I'm not making any accusations, but like I said, go watch Wes's video. Think for yourself. So this book is about Adam Strange, which I know next to nothing about. And it's a interesting narrative in the way that it's two stories that are interwoven together, basically from different points of view. Tom King has said it's the stories we tell about ourselves and the stories that people tell about us. And I was like, that's an interesting concept. I'm into that. So Adam Strange, he's a war hero, supposedly, on Rann, the planet millions and billions of light years away. And he can take a Zeta beam. This is DC Mojo stuff that sucks him away to this other planet where he fights. It all comes across, Adam Strange comes across very much like John Carter of Mars. But I'm not going to draw those comparisons either. This was a long time ago that Adam Strange was created. Still after John Carter of Mars, I do believe, but that's not the point of this. Anyways, it's a cool idea. I'm down with the old, Golden Age type concepts and the retro sci-fi stuff. It's neat. We start off here with Adam Strange doing a book signing. And he's like, "Hi, I'm Adam. Can I sign a book for you?" Now, I don't know if that's how... I've never seen anyone at a signing behave this way. I've also apparently never seen the hyper diversity that is always in comics and movies and stuff. It's I don't know why we call minorities if they're the majority anymore. But and then I get to this panel here, and my bias kicks in immediately. Now, on its own, this panel is innocuous. It's no big deal. But why am I so tired? America Today wants you to do a whole entrance. With a jetpack, maybe. Even come through the window. They have options. I think it could be fun, says his wife, sitting away from him. It just comes across so typical Tom King melodrama. It's so not comics. But that's my bias. I understand. I only feel this way because I've read Heroes in Crisis and parts of Mr. Miracle and Batman, and it's just this whole husband-wife weird relationship thing that they have, and how they I don't know. I feel like Tom King's view of the world is really skewed. But the Doc Shaner portions of the story are really cool, because at the very next panel, it's like, come on, 5, 4, 3, 2, and you can see it looks like he may have just saved this boat of people. I don't know. 1, and then the Zeta beam gets him, and he is back to his wife. All is lost. Now, at first, because I didn't really understand what was going on, I was like, dude, does he have 2 lives? Does he have a woman on Rann and a woman on Earth? But this is in the past. So this is before his wife came to Earth with him. And all the Doc Shaner story stuff is really cool. I really enjoyed it. It came across like a kind of an old Silver Age kind of adventure story. The Mitch Gerads stuff comes across very much like the prototypical Tom King, depressing, real world issues. A bunch of people just standing around talking, sounding important. We get back to this, and this is the thing that bothered me. This particular page is cut and paste multiple times throughout the comic. Mitch Gerads never redraws it in any way, shape, or form. So apparently Adam Strange is an exact mannequin. No matter who he's shaking hands with, he's in the exact same pose, never moves. I think this is lazy, especially since he didn't have to draw a whole comic book. And then I thought this was kind of weird too. Again, this diverse group of people. I'm going to get off of that. They're bringing some Tom King books for Adam Strange to sign. God, God, can you be more freaking self-impressed? Can you be more like, you know, some people this isn't going to bother, but for me, it just, stop drawing attention to yourself. You need to earn respect, not keep, look at me, anyways. So we keep flipping back in the story, and it's pretty cool. So he did something at Rann, I guess. It was supposed to make him a hero. Look, here we go, the same book signing. Now you're going to say, look, Ash, it's not the exact same thing. Well, because they just drew the background different. So for some reason, the books move. Or is this a different signing? It's a different location. I don't know. But we get this crazy freak who's coming to his book signing, and he's like, I know what you about the pics. I don't think this would happen at all. What happened on some planet billions of light years away, this dude would not care about. But he's, for some reason, like all up in arms and completely outraged about some rumor that he heard about something he did on this other planet. Like, what? But okay. And then we cut back again. Like, here we go. The tonal shift when we get back to the Mitch Gerads stuff. It's just people sitting around, lying around, blasé. Does this guy feel like a superhero that you'd want to read about? And this woman, she just can't... Did she look like a woman who is interested in her husband in any way, shape, or form? She's off on her phone all the time. She looks like his assistant more than anything. It's just, I don't feel any romantic connection. And you say, well, Ash, that's kind of real. Like, men and women can be like that. Yes, I get that. These comics are escapism. I read comic books for heroes. I read things, especially DC comics, for aspiration. Things I want to aspire to be. I want the world to be better. I want something to look up to. I want hope. I want a role model. I want, basically stories that uphold our highest ideals. It's fiction. I don't need to be constantly reminded of how shitty the world is. And I'm probably overreacting, like I said, because of my bias, and I'm admitting it to you guys. But when you get to this, the Doc Shaner illustrated stuff, it's all fun. Look, he's fighting giant war mech things, and it's cool. Now, I hate the stupid little pew, pew, pew. As a sound effect, I'm okay with it, but then it carries over later in the book where he's actually making the pew, pew sounds like he's a 12-year-old. Or scratch that, an 8-year-old. Because I don't think 12-year-olds would even do that. So he saves Rann, and then for some reason, here we go. Here's, as his wife's talking to him. Again, she's on her cell phone, never once looks at him. He's, he's just thinking, and he's just off in his own little world. Pew, 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 like he's a little fucking kid. And that's modern comics, and this is the beta male mentality that modern society has enforced on us. This is decades of media. If you can go back, look at all the sitcoms and media where the woman is always the intelligent one. She's always in charge of the house. She always takes care of everything. And the guy's a big doofus that the woman has to take care of. He's a lovable doofus, but he's a doofus. And without her, he would just be a mess and, what have you. But that's the world we live in. And so the media is going to reflect that and keep pushing. Even though he's the hero who saved a planet, he's really just a lovable doofus. And it's hard for me to get into that. Now, the Doc Shaner stuff, it's fun. Look, he's flying through the jaws of a monster. It's crunch and just barely escapes through. That's a cool scene. And he's fighting these aliens, and we don't really know much about him. Then we cut back to the signing, and it just comes off all so pretentious. And then here we see them in bed, presumably after sex, and she's smoking. I didn't know she smoked. I guess I didn't know. But the news is coming on, and that guy that you saw that was frothing at the mouth at the signing, he's dead. There he is, and they know that it's from a laser gun. A laser gun. What do they say? The man apparently had a wound to his head that some are reporting came from an off-world laser-type gun. So stupid. What? How do you make that determination? Do you know how many things are in the DC universe? Like, how many supervillains, how many aliens, how many superheroes? But this guy shows up dead, And it's like, oh, that's an off-world laser type gun. I'm surprised they didn't just immediately identify, oh, this is Rann weapon. Like, so, anyways, Adam Strange is like, he didn't do it. His wife's like, oh, and he's having a big press conference. Now people are like, oh, he's a war criminal maybe. I don't know. Then he eventually goes over to Batman and he hands over the gun. He's like, please, I need your help. Show them I'm innocent. You're the world's greatest detective. And Batman's like, no. Basically, Batman tells him it would be bad optics because Batman's kind of his friend or whatever. And so he's like, won't help him. And then his wife is again just smoking, never looking at him. Just, God, I just feel like this relationship here is like, he's such a simp. And I just, but we go back to the Doc Shaner stuff, and again, look, it's Adam Strange, and he's saving his daughter, and shooting the bad guys, and they get in the spaceship, they're getting away, but the Zeta beam's pulling him back, and he has to say, don't be scared, and he gets pulled away. And then we get here, lying depressed on Earth, thinking back to times when he was a man before his balls got cut off. Oh, man, and then we see this blood-splattered picture here. Although Wes made a good point in his video, he talked about it could be graffiti, and looking at that zoomed in, that does look like it's graffiti after all. They probably should have made it a different color, so I didn't, because when it's comic book page size, it looks like blood splatter. Although maybe that's the point. Maybe the point is to confuse the reader. So at the end, we get basically Michael Fairplay, who is Mr. Terrific, shows up, and he's going to help Adam. And yeah, and who's she looking at? Not her husband. Not her husband. Looking at the big black man. I'm not making any suggestions. So Strange Adventures. That's it. I thought this was a decent comic book, to be honest. I wanted to give you my disclaimer because it affected my reading of the book. I enjoyed it for the most part. I didn't love it. I wasn't blown away like I was Heroes in Crisis #1. But also this time, I've come in kind of with my eyes open. I was like, fool me once. And it seems like Tom King's history is I can start something, but I can't finish it. So I don't want to go over the moon on this book. It's decent. I'm going to give it 3 stars because that's what a comic should accomplish, is 3 stars. 4 is like, it's really good. It makes me want to buy another one. This does not make me want to buy another one. This makes me go, okay. I'm happy for the people that like it. I can see how it's going to appeal to some people. It's not bad. It doesn't deserve any bad marks. It does have some things I can critique, which I did. I pointed them out to you. You can see for yourself. Think for yourself. Tell me in the comments what you think about the book if you read it. Think about what my video. If you want to give me any feedback, that's great. But remember, always think for yourself. Always read good comics. I'll see you next time.